Anora, Bagora, Shadora, Snow White's sneaking into the theater. Did we manifest the return of the Power Rangers? For some reason, they're making a goofy movie documentary. Has Goostradamus done it again? Oh yeah, there's trailers. Gwyneth Paltrow talks sex, just like Sue Johansson. Television catch-up corner. All of that and so much more on News Dump. But before we get to all those amazing topics, Mac, our March Madness polling has begun. Food mascots, the people have gotten going.
Yeah, real opinionated stuff. Goo stumbled on to gold here. People like their food and they like their mascots. So we've got opinions. People are responding. I like that. Credit to Goo.
News Dump. On Hulu, the Academy Award-winning Anora is now available for streaming.
Yeah, my favorite movie of 2024 is now available to the masses. If you have yet to see it, I would make it a priority. It's that good of a movie. So go do it.
News Dump. Over at the box office, this was news more for earlier in the week, but I guess we'll just dabble at it right now. It wasn't very good. Novocaine won at about $8.5 million. Don't even have the numbers in front of me. Mickey 17 snuck in there at 2. Black Bag 3, not good. But we are expecting at least a little bit of money to be spent this upcoming weekend with Snow White. Yes, Snow White is actually hitting theaters. Did the people in the audience know that?
I don't know. Goo and I didn't know that because we didn't get a screening opportunity because Disney's back on their bullshit. I don't understand. This is now like the second or third time they've done this, and the score has still come out not very good. It's at sitting at 47% on Roddy T's, also a 47 on Metacritic. So just send it to the masses. It's a known IP. It's a movie that was made fucking 100 years ago, 80 years ago. The people that want to go see Snow White are going to go see Snow White. No one's going to be turned off by the Rotten Tomatoes score.
So first off, from what I've read, because once again, we have not seen it. From what I've read, Rachel Ziegler, pretty good in it. Gal Gadot, terrible.
That's the prevailing thoughts, which is amazing because Gal Gadot doesn't have to do much acting in that role. It's pretty one note, and it's good to hear Rachel Zegler's good. She's like an up and coming star. But yeah, this just goes to show you, like, very few, very, very few, you could argue none of these Disney movies need live action remakes.
Although I would say the older ones are the ones that you would attempt to do this with, because this might be a hot take. I know we're a couple guys slinging out those pancakes on a daily basis. But, Mac, old Disney movies, old animated movies, stink.
Yeah, they're not the greatest. They're just what we knew, especially us growing up in the 90s before the Renaissance. Like, that's all we had for forever. And then obviously, the Disney Renaissance in the 90s changed things. But we grew up watching fucking Fantasia, Snow White.
No. Fantasia deserves credit. Fantasia is something else.
Sure.
The other ones, may I speak to you as a father?
Yeah, why not?
So as a father and an uncle, as someone who drives my son and my niece to school every day, we let them go back and forth on who picks the songs. And when they get into a cycle of choosing Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, it is Snoozeville. It is. They all sound the same.
It's off to work.
It's all garbage. It is so boring and milquetoast. It is so vanilla. And you know what? I mean that in the worst way possible, because I actually love vanilla. I take that back. It's not vanilla. Vanilla is delicious. This is, when you buy something, this is the inner ice cream of a Klondike bar. It's nothing.
Goo, think about the state of music when those movies were coming out, though. Like, somehow moving pictures were ahead of music, which had been around for thousands of years, maybe millions of years. Music had been around forever, and somehow in like a 30-year gap, movies progressed further than where music had in 2,000 years. And then you get into the 60s, you get into electric instruments, music was terrible when those movies were being made. So I don't know what you expect.
They all talk the same. They all sing the same. They all have the same boring beats to them. They suck.
Is that you being Cynthia Erivo?
No, I was being, one of those 1930s singers. Cynthia Erivo's got pipes. Please, Mac, don't ever
Yeah,
do that again.
I didn't know it sounded like an Erivo impression.
We have been looking for more soundtracks or more music from like our childhood to show my son because we're kind of getting sick of his. And we stumbled back upon the Hercules soundtrack yesterday.
Okay.
You don't even need to watch the movie. They tell you the entire Hercules story through Motown music in the soundtrack.
All right, that's not bad. I don't. I'm trying to remember the Hercules songs.
Go from zero to hero.
Yeah, nothing's really
Zero
sticking out.
Hero.
I think we can both agree that as much as Lion King's soundtrack is amazing, I think Aladdin's might be the best one.
No, I'm gonna say for the sake of storytelling, I think Hercules might be the best.
Yeah, I mean this is recency bias, just because you heard it in the car this morning.
The accompanying movie to go with it. You are told the entire story of Hercules in the soundtrack.
Okay, so if you were blind, that would matter, but you're not.
And that's what I am talking to you as.
It's either Lion King or Aladdin. That's it.
News up. Let's jump to this one really quick because we just talked Disney. There is a Goofy movie documentary coming out. This will be on Disney Plus on April 7th. This is called Not Just a Goof. Now, I have seen YouTube specials on the making of this movie, so there is an interesting backstory to it. I do understand that. But also the fact that Atlanta, Donald Glover's show on FX, did an entire 40-minute spoof on the making of this movie. I feel like you can't go back and tell a story now because people have that in their mind.
Goo.
Yes.
I could not fathom a reason why anyone would need a documentary on the Goofy movie. I can't think of one. I can't think of an audience for it.
Did you see the Atlanta episode?
I'm sure I did.
It was that Goofy movie was the blackest Disney movie, and they just told a story through that.
I do recall that. Yes.
Yes. So may I speak to you as a father?
Please do. You have the floor.
This movie's actually great.
I have no gripe with a Goofy movie. I have a gripe with a documentary being made.
I hate the relationship between father and son, and I'm here to tell you, grow up.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I don't know who else will.
Dad, I just want my own life. I agree, but I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, single dad.
It's a single dad. He's just trying to raise his son.
He's a single dad who works too hard and loves his kids and never.
Goofy's a survivor.
I'm a survivor. Is that Goofy set to Reba?
I think we just set Goofy to Reba. Yeah,
We're gonna
right.
have to get Billy on that. I'm a survivor.
Survivor. Gorsh. Can add that in there too.
It's a good Goofy.
Thank you. I'm no Jim Cumming, of course, but I do my best.
Yeah.
Also with this, I was going to say something else, but now I forget.
That's totally cool.
Credits to me. News dump. Let's jump back to this. On Disney Plus, a live-action Power Rangers show is in the works. This is via The Wrap. Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz. They are from Percy Jackson and the Olympians. They will serve as the showrunners, and I have but one note for this show. You bring back Paul Schreier, and you bring back Jason Navy at their current age of 54 and 50 as Bulk and Skull, and you still put them in high school.
Big Boy's still alive?
Oh, they're both still alive.
Okay. All right. Here's. First of all, we manifested this. Credit to us.
Yes.
I kind of liked the tone of the movie we got in 2017. However, because you're making it a series, I think you have to kind of go with the campiness of the original series, right? You can't have it super
just
serious.
make it as cheap as possible. It's fine. Find some costumes. Have them wear it. There were several episodes where they just found Frankenstein costumes and said, bad guy of the week.
Basically, all their bad guys were just McDonald's food mascots.
I would also offer this. I would say to tell them, because I know that Amy Jo Johnson doesn't really want to do this stuff anymore. Let her direct a couple episodes
Yeah,
because she's a
like a
director
writer and
now.
director now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let her do she writes Power Ranger comics. So let her write some stuff, let her direct some stuff, and then say, hey, by the way, you have to be in it.
And you know what? I think it would be pretty cool because she was the closest with Jason David Frank out of the original cast. Like, if they're gonna go that route, Green Ranger stuff, have her write it. I think.
Well,
that'd be
no,
pretty
because
cool.
I would also assume that what is the actor's name? It's not Ned Yost, because that was the manager of the Brewers, right?
Yes. Yep. Correct.
Whoever the Blue Ranger was, maybe you bring him in as like a professor.
Oh, Billy. Yeah.
Billy.
Okay. Yeah, he's around still.
He's
I'm
around.
sure
Zach is
Zach's
still around.
Trini
Sadly,
died in like
Trini is
99. Yeah.
sadly Trini is not around.
Yeah.
The guy that played Jason, I believe, knock on wood, is in jail. I don't know why I would knock on wood.
He's in and out of jail the
Yes.
last, 10 or
It's
so
a
years.
tax evasion, I believe, right?
Yeah, sure.
Also, whoever's running this show, pay your actors this time.
Yeah, there you go.
It was famously a non-union shop. Mac and Goo famously pro-union. Pay your actors.
Massively pro-union. Yeah.
And when they ask for more money, don't just fire them. You sons of
Yeah,
bitches.
they had shit contracts because they were kids.
I am Saban. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a little more money? I'm going to find a new red, black, and yellow Ranger.
And because they were producing all new versions of the show, like Power Rangers, I don't think ever went into syndication, so they weren't making money off the original show.
It was always in syndication. Like almost from the jump, it was in syndication as well.
Oh, okay. All right, I was wrong.
You would watch it every day at 3:00, wouldn't you? Whenever it was on, you would watch it on Fox Kids.
Yeah, but then they moved on to the new Power Ranger stuff.
I would say that once they had enough episodes in the can, and it might have only been like 17 episodes, they started running reruns.
All right, fair enough.
Because children didn't know the difference. I saw the episode with the pig monster that ate everyone's food at least 100 times. That was
Great
always
episode.
on, and I'm going to watch it every time.
That's a perfect episode of television.
That is the crazy craving of fucking Power Rangers monsters. It's just a head, arms, legs, and it just yells.
I had the sickest Goldar doll when I was a kid. I loved that fucking thing. Power Rangers
I love
toys
that you didn't
dope.
just call it an action figure. You're like, nope, it was a doll.
It was like the size of the Goldar was too big to be like an action figure. He was pretty large, so I went doll.
Well, credit to the show. They would always do the 6-inch figures, and they would also do the foot size ones too.
Yeah, that was I had the foot size Goldar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there were so many good things with Power
And it made sense too because when he'd Hulk up and actually fight the Zords,
Make my monster grow. Now you have the right size to fight the Megazord.
There you go.
They nailed it. News dump. Warner Brothers is in talks to sell Coyote vs. Acme to Ketchup Entertainment for $50 million. The film will release in 2026 if this does happen. This is via Deadline.
So I'm mad about several things here. First of all, they could have done this 2 years ago. Second of all, they said they were deleting it off planet Earth forever. So that was a fucking lie. And thirdly, if they could have got, what's the tax write-off? It's not as much as 50 million, right? And didn't they already get a tax write-off for it?
I don't know how government works. I don't know how anything works, really. Have they already received the tax write-off? And if they have, do they have to give it back if they now make $50 million from this other ketchup company buying their movie?
I don't know how that works either. They're going to be in fucking jail with the Red Power Ranger for tax evasion.
It's going to be them, the Red Power Ranger, and the creators of The Penguin for calling it a limited series, but then it's actually multiple seasons, yet they got all the awards. It's a scam. It's L&L limo.
It's all a fucking scam. This is big news for Goo, who has been wanting to see this movie, as have I, for a couple years now. And we've discovered our heroes can be liars, a la James Gunn. But Will Forte claims this is like a really funny movie and is bummed that it hasn't seen the light of day.
This also opens the door for another canceled movie to possibly see the light of day. And
Hmm.
while it could be complete trash, I want to see the Batgirl movie.
We have to see the Batgirl movie. Have to see it.
Mhm.
Keaton's
News
in it
note.
too.
Mac, we got a trailer, full length. It might be the second trailer for From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. And while I love the John Wick universe when it pertains to the movies, I haven't seen the show. I won't watch another movie if it's just the high table and all that shit. But I like the John Wick movies. I would have enjoyed it just being another John Wick movie, pluck out Keanu Reeves, put in Ballerina. But what is this mishmash applesauce of making it both a Ballerina and John Wick movie?
So first of all, this is on the short list for worst titles of a movie ever. Second of all, like your selling point is Anna de Armas. So
Mhm.
don't half-ass us. I'm gonna watch this for Anna de Armas. I'm not gonna watch this for Keanu Reeves and John Wick. I've already gotten my John Wick stuff out of the way. Like don't bullshit with me here. Like don't fucking 007 us here and have her fucking in for 20 minutes. So of course she's still gonna be the main character, but I want full Anna de Armas if I'm going into an Anna de Armas movie.
Right. And while I understand that you are trying to sell this movie to the masses, you are still trying to get as many butts in seats. I hate the fact that they have put so much of Keanu Reeves slash John Wick in the trailer. Now, while I would have been very confused as to why a dead man is in this movie, it would have been a very confusing surprise.
They just don't know what they're doing. They got a scale that no one was gonna see it because they didn't know it was in the John Wick universe. And now, probably because of reshoots and shoehorning John Wick in it, I bet it's gonna stink.
News dump. Got our first full trailer, only 90 seconds though. I'm a little looking at it sideways. Happy Gilmore 2. Lots of callbacks.
Gil,
Yeah.
I'm not in the business of predicting things too often. I'm no Goose Radamus. I think this movie's gonna be good.
Okay.
I think Happy Gilmore 2 is
Well, hold
gonna
on,
be a good movie.
do you think a good movie or just like a delightful romp?
I think it's gonna be like 30 hot dogs.
30. Okay,
Yeah,
75%, a hard
yeah.
C.
I think it's gonna be in that range. I think it strikes me um that they're doing things like the way they should, and it's not. I don't know. Something about this trailer hooked me in a little bit. That's
Now,
for
don't
sure.
get me wrong, it does seem like they're crossing streams with his other movies, his other Happy Madison movies, because Chet Hunter is playing with his nips. That's a Waterboy thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you think? Oh, he
I'm all
talked a
in.
couple years ago about doing like a Madison, Happy Madison multiverse. Do you think that's what this movie ends up being, where he ends up playing multiple characters and it's all his famous characters?
He ends up tackling himself as Bobby Boucher.
Mm-hmm. You're in big, big trouble. News dump. Trailer for Elio. This is the new Pixar movie. I didn't see this. Did you?
Yeah, I think this movie's gonna be good too. I like the premise of it. Now, Pixar's pretty hit or miss recently, the last decade or so. I just like the premise of this. I like the tone of it. I think this is gonna be really fun. Not a groundbreaking movie, not a 40 dog movie, but I think this is gonna be a really good kids movie.
News dump. Saw on Culture Crave before hopping on here that the new budget for The Mandalorian and Grogu is only $144.6 million. That makes it the cheapest Star Wars movie made under Disney.
That's less than half of the Electric State, so they're doing something right there.
And
Um,
that's how we gauge everything now.
it also helps that they have sets and stuff designed and built from the first 3 seasons of the show that'll probably play into this.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're
so
giant screens that makes it looks real.
if you consider the costs, that went into the first 3 seasons of the show, this would be bumped up, obviously. But that's encouraging. It's what that tells me is like they set out with a budget with a goal, and they haven't had to stray too far from it. Like they're making what they want to make, and that's it.
Well, it also tells me that it's going to be more of like a cut and dry Western and maybe less of a space epic. And I'm not expecting Grogu to do any like Yoda
He fucking
jumping
better.
beam lightsaber battles with Dooku or anything.
I'll tell you what, if that doesn't happen, I'm not gonna like it.
News
I
dope.
need lightsabers. I need
No,
force users.
there's gonna be lightsabers and force users, but I'm saying though is like,
Sure
you
about
know
that?
how no, I'm not sure about that. But you know how in Attack of the Clones, you had that lightsaber battle where Yoda was just flipping about all over
Yeah,
the
it was
place?
awesome.
That was the worst one ever. That's the worst
No,
lightsaber
it
battle.
was awesome. Fuck you. You're wrong.
We've already done our top 10
The,
lightsaber
wor-
battles,
the
I think,
worst
and that was
lightsaber
not on the list.
battle is
That
Vader
was
Obi-Wan.
the worst one.
No, it's Vader Obi-Wan.
As the
Easily.
worst one?
Yeah.
I disagree.
They go, ksh, ksh, and then Obi-Wan just stands there and disintegrates.
Yeah, and Vader is laughing under his mask like, this guy's old. He used to be able to do flips. Now
This
look
really
at him.
is old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah. I thought you were Obi-Wan Kenobi. Turns out you are Ben.
You know, it's a pretty shitty one too.
Yeah.
When Obi-Wan kills Maul at the end of Clone Wars.
Oh,
Yeah, Clone Wars. Yeah, yeah. In season 7, he kills him instantly because he faked him out with the who was his Qui-Gon. He faked him out with the Qui-Gon move and then went, psh, you're dead.
nice. This is via Vanity Fair. Gwyneth Paltrow had no idea what an intimacy coordinator was while filming Marty Supreme, saying that her and Timothy Chalamet had tons of sex on the movie, saying there's now something called an intimacy coordinator, which I did not know existed. I was like, girl, I'm from the era where you get naked, get in bed, the camera's on.
This made me think Gwyneth Paltrow is much hotter. That's what this did for me. I do think we've come a little, and I get it's necessary for certain reasons to have an intimacy coordinator, but also if you have two really good actors in a scene, they can figure it out. They're in character. You don't need a third party coordinating their intimacy if these two actors are doing well within their characters.
I mean, Mac is saying that because he got fired when he was the intimacy coordinator on a show because he kept on going.
No, I just kept talking about how we need to see the balls dangle. That was my
Guys,
my
can we get a shot from the back over here? We like the back of the balls. That's what the people out there want to see.
That's when they know they're having sex.
They're like, sir, you're the intimacy coordinator, not the director. And then you're like, not for long.
You sure about that?
Unless you do this shot, not for long. She also said that she considers this her first real serious role since 2010. With all due respect to Pepper Potts and the Marvel Universe, it's different when you're reprising an Avengers thing.
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong about that. She popped
Yeah.
in for like 5 minutes every now and then in the MCU. So I didn't know she was co-starring in Marty Supreme, by the way. So credit to Timothy
Chalamet. News dump. Invincible season 3 finale. Has it already happened, or is it going to happen?
It happened last week.
Was it good?
Pretty strong finish.
Okay.
I would say a really
Just
good
like
season.
Chalamet on Marty Supreme, am I right?
I would say season 1, because of the highs, might be better than season 3. Both definitively better than season 2, but season 3 was really good, back to season 1 quality. So I'm actually looking forward to what Invincible is going to give us going forward.
How often do you talk to yourself?
Here's a thing that I've discovered recently. Some people don't have a voice in their head. I talk to myself in my head all day long.
I talk to myself out loud constantly. And the other day there was no one else around me. And I was not only talking to myself, but I was acting out the scene from Knocked Up where it's like, Mr. Skin? Mr. Skin? I was just doing it to myself, not even in a mirror. There was no one else around. I was driving.
Yeah.
I was just kept on saying it, smiling and pointing to myself, smiling.
At some point, Rafi's going to say to you, Dad, you're really weird, huh?
Oh, he's going to figure it out real soon. Well, I mean, one that day, he's going to look around and be like, my dad does stuff that other adults don't.
My dad has more toys than I do.
Forever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. News dump. We're getting the finale for Severance this week. By the time this episode comes out, the episode would have already come out. Let me apologize to my wife because during the finale of Severance, I was not only trying to pay attention to that, but also my fantasy baseball draft.
Oh, you guys are watching it when it goes live, huh?
As soon as it's live, as soon as Apple TV Plus says play, we say, nah, play.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that tonight. I've been traditionally watching it on Fridays, but there's been a couple episodes where it didn't come out on Thursday night at 9, and that really pissed me off. I don't know why that didn't happen. Q,
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed the fuck out of this season. I am gonna need my balls to be blown off a little bit by this finale.
I don't know if it is.
I need it a little bit because the last 3 episodes of season 1 were amazing, and it was a really strong finish, but it did kick the can down the road a little bit, which is fine because it's season 1, it's setting up a series. I'm gonna need a little finality with something in season 2 here. There's too many things coming to a head these last 2 or 3 episodes. I'm gonna need some finality with a couple characters.
I don't know if it's going to reach the peaks of season 1 and its finale because season 1, they shot and, edited. They produced the entire show before anyone had ever seen it. So they had no idea if anyone was going to respond to it or like it. They know now that they are secure in their jobs for at least a couple seasons. So there's a chance that they just kind of, we'll see you next year, or not next year, in 2.5 years.
I hope the show only goes 3 seasons, maybe 4. I think that would be best case for this show. So I'm hoping that this is maybe akin to like Breaking Bad season 4, where we get a really great finish here, and then we also get an additional great season.
I am hoping for at least 9 or 10 seasons, and starting next year, we get 24 episodes a season, and we add a laugh track.
You know what I'm honestly worried about? Because Lumen has their hands in so many things, so they can bounce around throughout the world or the country. I'm worried it gets a little Westworldy, where they start getting into shit we don't care about, you know? And that was Westworld's downfall, because Westworld season 1 was incredible. They haven't shown that yet with this season, but because Lumen is so widespread and has so much influence, I fear that if this goes on for too many seasons, that's the reason why.
That's the show that I always think of too, is Westworld was so good season 1.
So fucking
and then
good.
just lost its way.
Yeah.
News dump. Over on Daredevil, we are 4 episodes into our 9-episode season. It is good to quite good. It is definitely in the same feeling as the original show. And last episode, are we allowed to say this? Punisher?
I still haven't seen it, but I saw all the teasers for it. Yeah,
Okay.
we get what's his name? Frank
Grillo?
Frank's no. What's his last name? Punisher's last name.
Oh, Darno.
We get John Bernthal back as the Punisher. I still haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I gotta say, I've seen some like mixed reactions to the season so far. To me, it's been the best start of a Daredevil season.
Very simple that people just have a bias right now against Disney Marvel stuff. / they always claim as soon as something goes to Disney that it's being Disneyified, or when you go woke, you go broke.
I've been more gripped by the beginning of this season than any of the prior 3 seasons. That's not to say this may not reach the highs of say season 1 or season 2, but I really like where this show's heading.
News dump. And then finally, over on White Lotus, we won't get too deep into that last episode. It's episode 4 in an 8 or 9 episode. They've added an episode, so there's more. Mac hasn't seen it. Mac doesn't watch the show. I don't blame you. It's boring as shit. But they did finally get to something interesting. It's a monologue given by Sam Rockwell, who
like Sam Rockwell.
He was a last-second ad because Leslie Bibb is in the cast. They are famously married, and they needed an actor to perform this role. Really, it's a show-stopping performance. And it was a last-second thing of she had to go and get him. She couldn't guarantee that she could get him, but he did. This is so similar to Civil War with Jesse Plemons. We need someone. Kirsten Dunst Can you please get your amazing actor of a husband to come in here and steal the show? And no one's going to talk about any other part of this movie besides the 5 minutes that he's in.
It sounds like White Lotus is on its way to winning the Mindhunter Award, where people are like, yeah, I'd really like something to happen. And
Yeah.
nothing ever does. Nothing ever happens.
Well, so it's Sam Rockwell giving this huge monologue about like how he's discovering who he is. And it takes a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and it's just Walton Goggins on the other side responding. And that's really the only stuff that's happened this year.
Okay. All right.
But Plemonade. It's the definition of Plemonade.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell can do anything he wants.
What Plemonade might be moving forward is when directors and writers scam wives of famous actors to be in their movies or television shows. News dump. All right, once again, go over to our X. We have March Madness polls up there right now. First round, I think we have both sides of the bracket up, so vote.
Bang.
News up!